Hello, everyone. I am here to spread the gospel of the Steam Deck. It is I, your Steam Deck evangelist, here to tell you about why you probably should think about getting one. So, this won't be a first impressions. I've had the Steam Deck for about 3 years now. 2025? Yeah, 3 years. I got it in September 2022. It has become my not sole, but main gaming device. I've poured a lot of hours into many games. It's actually got me back into gaming. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm someone who's gamed on plenty of portable devices, things like starting from the original Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Color, Advance, DS, DS Lite, 3DS, the PS Vita, the PSP, the Neo Geo Pocket. I've even picked up a device like the Retroid Pocket 2S. Love this thing for the time that I had it. It was good to just have all my retro games on me and play those wherever I wanted to and just throw it in a bag. But what about some of the big games I want to play? Things like Persona, Elden Ring. That's where the Steam Deck came in and kind of revived my love for gaming. I mean, you can even see it in some of my stats for my end of year wrap up. You'll see that I have, it started off with about 50% time of on the Steam Deck between my PC and my Steam Deck. But this past year, I think it ended at around 93%. I'll have it posted here for you to see. But Steam Deck is my go-to way to play. If it comes out on the PC and it's somewhat playable on the Steam Deck, I'll probably go that way. I've even convinced some of my friends to go ahead and purchase a Steam Deck for a myriad of reasons. Even if they're getting back into gaming, if they just want something simple, I think the Steam Deck is that perfect home for just casual or hardcore, in some instances, gameplay. As far as hardware customization, I haven't done too much. I mean, it still looks the same way it did when I first purchased it. The only thing I did add in here is a I popped in a 512 gigabyte drive in here, and then I also have I believe it's a 1 terabyte SD card in there. So I have a couple games just backed up and ready to go if I want to jump into them. And then I have a good main drive to just run everything off of. Is pretty much how I run it. I do have Decky Loader loaded in there as well. Small little tweaks that I do in there, just adding how long to beat into some of the games that I play so I can quickly take a look at how long this game may take to beat. And other than that, I don't think I have anything else loaded in there. That's about it for the plugins. How it holds up. This thing, I haven't really dropped it that much, but just physically, it's a good chunky piece of tech. It's pretty heavy. The thumbsticks are the things that I worried about the most because I'll be playing any and everything. I've played Rocket League on there. I've beaten both Elden Ring and Dark Souls remastered on there. So just hoping that these sticks keep up, and they have. I haven't had any stick drift at all, I believe. I actually have to double check. I'll put it at the bottom if it's Hall effect sensors or not. But if that's the case, these things have held up. If it's not the case, I can't believe they're holding up with how much work I've been putting into it with the specifically Rocket League. There's a lot of thumbstick motion that you have with that game. And then on to some of the games that I played. Games like Elden Ring. I previously was not a Souls person at all. If it was hard, difficult in any way like that, I got out of the game. I'm not playing games to be beaten to death the way you are in the Souls games. But for some reason, that one kind of called to me, and I said, if I'm going to do it, it has to be on Steam Deck. It has to be handheld, something I can just quickly put down, pick back up whenever I need to. And I fell in love with Elden Ring. And now I fall in love with Souls games. So, like I mentioned earlier, I beat Elden Ring. I really didn't have to tweak the settings that much. I think what came out of the box was pretty good. Moved on to Dark Souls. I did a little bit of tweaking with the graphic settings just to make it run at a smooth 30. And that's been the baseline for me. I know a lot of people demand 60 frames per second for their Souls games. I don't know a difference yet, so right now 30 works for me. As long as it stays at 30, I'm good to go. For Dark Souls, I did make a few changes as far as the graphics goes, but other than that, I kept it simple, ran it out the box. It's a fairly old game, so it pretty much had no problem running on the system. Games like Persona 3 Reload. That one, there was one little thing that didn't run well. I had to turn off the ray tracing in the settings. Once you turn that off, I think it ran at a smooth 60, if I remember correctly. But Persona 3 ran with no problem. Games like Yakuza Like a Dragon, incredible game. Didn't expect to like that as much as I did. I can't wait to jump into Infinite Wealth. Once I get some time, right now I'm still kind of catching up on things that I didn't get to play. But it'll get loaded up on the Steam Deck and get played. I believe that one is pretty compatible. And then I've just churned through a lot of indie games. When I first got the Steam Deck, it was a good backlog clear. So I used that to just play anything. As you know, with these Steam sales, you can just buy a ton of games and never really get to them. I churned through games like Tunic, Hohokum, Flower, Owlboy, just smaller games like that have just been sitting there that I haven't gotten back to or really wanted to replay, like some of those PlayStation specific games. I played them before on the PS3 when they were popular, but hadn't touched them in years. One game I did find that it struggled a bit when I started to play it was Dragon Age of Veilguard. Struggled a bit. It's time for me to upgrade the PC. I think I'm still rocking a 1080. So at some point, hopefully this year, I'll be able to upgrade my PC. But right now, that one didn't run too well. I think I got to maybe getting my fourth character on the team, and it was too much. It was too much stuttering. So I said, I'm going to go ahead and just put this down, come back to it once I build the PC and play that there. So you need to know what you can and can't deal with. I can handle a little bit of stuttering. I can running everything at 30 frames per second. That doesn't bother me. But when it's too much stuttering, when we're dipping below 30, that's when I start to pump the brakes and say we need to put this on the PC itself. SteamOS is incredible. SteamOS is so incredible that I'm passively considering building a PC based on SteamOS or whatever the SteamOS like is. I believe it's called Bazite. I'm considering building a PC based on that, making that essentially the console-ish system because it runs so well. Everything I play runs fine. I don't have anything that's been blocked or, can't run on SteamOS or Linux or anything like that. So I am considering that. However, I would lose some of the NVIDIA features like DLSS and all that since that doesn't run in Linux or the drivers don't work in Linux. It's something I'm considering. I'll probably just stick with Windows just to keep things easy to ensure that everything works, no problem. I don't have to worry about anything being blocked by Linux. Again, haven't done any mods. I've kept it pretty simple, kept it pretty light. Just I like it to just work. I know you can get in there and tweak things. You can add movies and whatnot. I planned on doing that, but I just never got to it. I was like, I'm picking this up to play it. I usually put it in rest mode, so I'll never see those boot up animations. So it would have been a waste of time for me. For battery life, I'm not going to lie to you. The battery life on this thing is terrible depending on the game that you're playing. So a game like Elden Ring could probably run for about 2 hours depending on what you're doing. But again, you're playing a full PC game handheld. When I'm playing a big game like that, I'm usually sitting, on the couch or next to my bed with the power cable plugged in. And you might think, well, you're tethered down. You might as well play on a console, but I have the option of playing anywhere else. My wife can watch the TV while I play a game or churn through a bunch of enemies in Persona and something like that. And I could just level up while still being present and enjoying TV shows, movies, whatever she wants to do. We can talk and I can still just kind of churn through those things instead of just sitting in front of my PC in the office and she's somewhere else. I don't want to be in the office. I want to talk to you. I can still be there and be present. I have considered getting the dock plenty of times. And every time I think about getting it, I'm like, well, or I could just build the PC and that can be my docked experience. But I have considered it, haven't done it yet. Right now, it's just been my handheld go-to. That's about it there. I haven't installed any emulators or anything like that. I've pretty much kept this a PC gaming only thing, even though, as you may already know, this thing can run all emulators like a champ. For the time being, since Apple has let emulators on the App Store and Android, you can get all the emulators there, which is why I picked up the Retroid Pocket. I pretty much keep those as my quick jump in, play a little bit of Golden Sun or an old game, something like that, and keep this as the PC handheld. It's a little bit too heavy for me to just want to play something like Pokemon or a light game like that. The device is not perfect. As I mentioned earlier, there are some games that just have DRM issues on Linux. I know one that comes to mind, again, I don't play them, but one that comes to mind is Destiny. Destiny has some issues running on Linux. I know a lot of people have gotten their accounts banned. You can play it, but a lot of people have gotten banned. I wouldn't recommend doing anything that'll get your account banned, but up to you. You can do whatever you'd like. Rocket League hasn't had any issues, but there are some games out there that just won't run. But a lot of those are usually multiplayer games where they register the operating system as cheating for some reason. I don't understand that. Another downside, there's a lot of tweaking that comes with a PC handheld, and that can be a benefit or that could be a pro or a con depending on who you are. For me, I don't mind tweaking it. I personally don't care about having the greatest graphics on a handheld device. I just want to be able to play the game pretty smoothly. For some people, they want high fidelity, and that's something that they're going to have to play with to get the look that they want and determine what they want to sacrifice to get whatever it is that they want. There is a lot of tweaking that comes with that. And then just games in general on PC. Everybody's PC is somewhat different. So you're going to do some tweaking to make it work for your situation. Another con, people have mentioned dealing with overheating. I personally haven't dealt with that, but it's something to note. There is a fan noise that happens that it revs up and it's pretty loud depending on what you're playing. I know playing Elden Ring, playing Dark Souls, that thing goes. Sounds like a jet in here, but I think I've just gotten used to it. It doesn't bother me that much. A lot of people you'll see online talk about the smell that comes from the fan. Personally, I don't care. When you first get it, it lets off a weird smell that I don't enjoy, but now that I've had it for, 2 years, I don't get a smell out of my fan. If you were on the fence and what I just talked to you about, help you make the decision to join the Steam Deck community, please welcome. Let me know what you're playing. Let's add each other and game together. But if you still need more things to help you make that decision, I mean, just think about what you can play on the go. I didn't talk about the remote play aspects of it. I also have an app on here to allow me to remote play into my PlayStation, so I can play PS5 games on there if I don't want to repurchase them when they come to Steam. And the remote play is really good. Like it just as good, if not better, than a Portal. And one of my best friends has a Portal device, and I mean, we can't tell the difference between just the slight lag. The Steam Deck is perfect for anyone who wants to get into gaming, wants to get back into PC gaming, but doesn't want to spend the price of getting a PC. If you know that you're not playing, these heavy hardcore games that'll, just essentially not run on the device, go ahead and get you a Steam Deck. It's perfect. Literally, it's perfect. Or maybe not even a Steam Deck. Go ahead and get you a ROG Ally. Get one of the other competitors. If you demand to have Windows on it, get one of them. They're all great devices. The PC handheld gaming space is really good, but obviously this video is specific to the Steam Deck. I want to keep it simple, keep it light. Steam knows what they're doing, and everything, for me at least, seems to work just fine. I've had almost no issues outside of some of the big newer games coming out that don't run as well, like Dragon Age. I'd recommend this also for anyone who enjoys handheld gaming. Again, this thing is kind of heavy, but it's super ergonomic. Like, it feels great in the hands. You can play it anywhere. I've taken it on trips and gotten some good gaming sessions in. You can play most of your games offline. I play it in the living room, I play it in the bed, I play it in my office, the bathroom, wherever gaming seems to call me. I can play this thing everywhere, and I can play whatever I'd like to play there. Again, even if I treat it just like a PlayStation Portal, I can play everything on my PlayStation from there and still keep up with whatever's happening. Now, would I recommend this over a gaming laptop or a Switch? All three are wildly different. You're getting a Switch if you know that you like Nintendo games. Me personally, I love Nintendo games, so I'm going to get a Switch every time, as well as a PC handheld. If you're looking for just indie games, they usually come to the Switch. The Switch is a good haven for indie games, but obviously they usually come to PC first, so everything is going to be on the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck also gives you access to a lot bigger games and allows you to play some of those games on other consoles that, aren't available elsewhere. For a gaming laptop, it's going to cost you a bit more, probably about double the price, but you'll get a lot more out of it. You'll be able to play a lot beefier games than you would with a Steam Deck. But for me, I don't need all that. I like it to be handheld. I like it to all be in one device. I don't need to be able to do other things on the device, just gaming. So Steam Deck is essentially all I need. Final thoughts. The Steam Deck is still king for me. I love this device. I'm hoping that they announce a new one. I know they've announced the OLED version. If you are looking to buy one now, I highly recommend getting the OLED version now. I've not seen it. I hope not to ever see it so that I don't have any FOMO. Whenever they announce the next one, if they announce the next one, I'll be in. If they announce a Steam Deck or Steam Deck console, that would be great. That would actually solve a lot of my issues, and I would go ahead and get that as well. And then have that in the living room as well as just having my PC for, the hardcore stuff. But depending on whatever the home console could do, that would be great. And then for those that are watching who currently have a Steam Deck, what are some of your favorite games that you're playing? Drop it in the comments below so I can probably pick those up because I'm loving playing everything on the Steam Deck. I think what I got next up on the docket is Red Dead Redemption 2. I heard that runs pretty well, so I'm going to go ahead and check that out. I hope this video has been helpful for you all. Please let me know what your thoughts are, commenting below, like and subscribe. Thanks, everyone.